Brad, a young lifeguard at the water park, decides to impress his girlfriend Cindy by bringing her to work one night. However, their intimate moment is interrupted by a sudden appearance of a man who pushes Brad off the platform, causing him to fatally crash. After Brad's death, the maniac targets Cindy and gruesomely dismembers her. Meanwhile, the graduates of Webb Wally High School gather to celebrate the end of their studies. Alice, the head of the graduating committee, announces that they will stay there until the end of the weekend, much to the delight of the young people. Josh, along with his friends Chad and Slim, prepares for a performance with their band. While inspecting the stage, they meet Conrad, the park supervisor. At the same time, many girls participate in the annual car wash event in the park, where 2 winners will receive a trip to Europe. Priscilla leads the event. Tommy, worried about not being able to find his girlfriend Kim, tries to ask Priscilla about her whereabouts, but she dismisses him. Kim, who is Josh's ex-girlfriend, works at the water park. Tommy finds her casually chatting with Josh. Mike, Josh's father, receives a voice message from his son, inviting him to join their gathering at the water park. 2 students bring alcohol bottles to slide down the water slide. One of the guys loses control, and the bottle shatters against his head. The staff calls for an ambulance and closes the slide due to the shards in the water. Alice, along with her friends, indulges in illicit substances. Her boyfriend Paul is unable to join in the fun as he works at the water park, where he is responsible for dealing with the aftermath of the shattered bottle in the water. In the evening, Slim and Chad ask Tommy to help them with some equipment. They intentionally distract him so that Josh can have some private time with Kim. Mike has dinner with Priscilla, unaffected by the fact that she is married to Paul, enjoying their time together before heading to the water park to attend Josh's performance. During the concert, Phil sends out a mass distribution message, and everyone receives a video of Josh and Kim engaging in intimate activities. Enraged, Tommy storms the stage, beating up the musician and taking Kim with him as he leaves the party. Priscilla accidentally overhears a conversation between Paul and Alice, realizing that her husband has been unfaithful for several months. Upset, she leaves the party. Mike talks with his son, feeling remorseful for just watching him being beaten up. Mike shares his plans, intending to buy the water park. Alice, having overheard their conversation, goes to find Paul. A heated argument ensues between the lovers, and Alice storms out, slamming the door behind her. During the night, an unknown person drills holes into one of the water slides and installs 2 large blades. In the morning, Mike observes the happenings at the water park from a distance. Suddenly, an assailant sneaks up behind him with a gun and shoots him in the leg. Mike tries to hide from the killer and opens the door to one of the utility rooms, where he discovers the bodies of Cindy and Brad. With his last breath, he lets out a scream before the unknown assailant shoots him in the head. Tommy gets fired from his job, and Kim has left him. He tries to reach out to her, but she doesn't respond. Sitting in his car, he encounters Conrad. The seasoned man tries to convince Tommy that everything can be fixed and nothing terrible has happened, but the young man is too despondent to listen to anyone's advice. Conrad leaves to prepare for the water park's opening. Priscilla informs Paul that she's leaving him. The students indulge in drugs and prepare for wild water slides. Alice assembles a team to kick the guys' asses. Paul is concerned about the absence of lifeguards Brad and Cindy. Despite this, the park opens, and Priscilla announces the start of the competition, showcasing the trophy for the victory. Tommy joins the graduates to settle the score with Josh, and he notices one of the slides leaking and finds plastic shavings in the grass. He tries to warn the students, but they simply walk past him. Paul explains the rules of the races. 3 teams of 3 people each must hold onto each other tightly, and the team that reaches the pool first wins the $500,000 prize. Since Slim is nowhere to be found, Kim joins Josh and Chad's team. Paul signals the start with a starting pistol, but Tommy, who is rushed over, asks him to stop the competition. He shows them the shavings he found and insists that there's a hole in the slide. Paul and Priscilla brush off Tommy's concerns and give the teams the go-ahead to start. The carefree teenagers begin their descent. Tommy tries to dissuade the people remaining at the top, but Phil pushes him, causing him to fall onto one of the slides. Priscilla contacts Conrad via radio, as he is stationed at the bottom and must give permission for the next ride. Alice's team rides down a track where blades are installed, with Alice sitting at the front, and she is sliced into several pieces. The The girl sitting behind her also hits the blades and dies. Josh, Chad, and Kim's team descends first. Participants and spectators are horrified when they see bloody water and body parts flowing out of the adjacent slide. The pool turns into a gruesome scene of carnage. Josh tries to climb up the slide to understand what happened inside. Conrad loses consciousness and drops the radio, injuring his leg upon impact. The third girl from Alice's team is still alive, separated from the blades by the lifeless body of her friend sitting in front of her. She tries to crawl backward, but the water pouring from above prevents her from doing so. Unfortunately, Tommy falls into that same tube. He desperately tries to slow down, clutching the edges of the slide, but the current sweeps him away, and he ends up colliding with the blades, using his hands to shield himself. The girls sitting in front of him are dead. Josh continues his futile attempts to climb up the tube, while Kim, standing in the bloody pool, succumbs to wild terror and panic. Conrad struggles to reach the radio to cancel all further descents, but Priscilla's radio malfunctions, and she doesn't understand the message being relayed to her. One of the participants hesitates at the last moment and refuses to slide down, so Priscilla suggests to Paul that he compete against her as rivals. After some persuasion, he agrees. Tommy barely holds on, his hand bleeding profusely, but he continues to fight for his life. The new teams start from the top. Josh manages to climb up the structures and tries to help Paul escape the slide. Phil and Priscilla's team completes their descent and sees the bloody pool with body parts. The girls' team pushes against Tommy, who resists, and they decapitate him. Conrad asks Kim to shut off the water supply to the slide. She rushes to the utility room, but slips on a puddle of blood, falling near Mike's corpse. Upon seeing the other bodies, Kim is overcome with wild terror. Josh fails to pull Paul out, and he falls down. He rushes to the top where other people are waiting for their turn, screaming about the danger, but one of the guys simply smirks and jumps into the slide. Conrad also tries to warn the students of the danger, but group after group continues their descents. The guys at the top throw Josh and Conrad into the slide. Sometime later, Josh and Kim sit before a lawyer. The man informs them that Josh's father left him a substantial inheritance. Before proceeding with the paperwork, the lawyer asks Josh to sign some documents related to the construction. His father intended to build a shopping center on the site of the ill-fated water park. Grieving, Josh signs the papers. Afterwards, the lawyer hands him a check with an impressive amount, $20 million. Josh hands it to the woman sitting next to him, who removes her glasses, revealing herself to be Priscilla. She embraces Josh and assures him that he is not to blame, while deceitfully smiling. She recalls how many years ago, she and her father used to ride these slides together. Her father died because lifeguard Mike was too preoccupied with a young girlfriend. That's when a young Priscilla decided she would seek revenge at any cost, even at the expense of others' lives.